Mr. Chairman, last night, of course, the President gave the State of the Union address, and I thought for the first time he covered two major points that were important to my constituents and many of the people I talk to across the country, and I'm going to talk about you having the opportunity today perhaps to do the same thing. The President not only described the seriousness of the economic problem that we have, but he went on to address the solution to that problem. And it put it in context that people no longer should think, if they listened to his address last night, that this is just an ordinary recession or ordinary times. As you recanted in your opening statement, you talked about those fateful days in September. And I remember them quite well, and there's a lot of misinformation and disinformation about what happened. And I think I remember either you or Secretary Paulson saying that when you step away from the precipice and you didn't fall over, many people don't believe that you were in risk of falling over. But I think all of us know that that risk was very present between the 15th of September and, say, the 24th of September when you appeared before this committee and gave some of the descriptions of problems. I think it would be very helpful if you could concentrate on describing those events of that fateful week, how close we came, what actions you recommended and this Congress took to avert that disaster that some of us called a meltdown or destruction of our economic system, so that the American people will begin to realize that you already have been victorious in some respects, that we didn't go over the edge, that you now have a plan together with the administration over a long period of time of a year, 18 months, or 2 years that should bring about recovery. Now, would you take the opportunity to spell out that week and your success and Secretary Paulson's success?
Well, Mr. Kanjorski said it extremely well. The financial crisis intensified quite severely in September. It was sparked in turn to some extent by weakening of the global economy. That crisis involved...
All those pages have a shut-off. Please use them. Go ahead.
That crisis involved the increased pressure on a number of financial institutions, including, as you know, Lehman Brothers, AIG, and others. And we were quite concerned that there was going to be a large number of failures that would be extraordinarily dangerous to the world financial system and to the world economy. Secretary Paulson and I came to the Congress and we presented what at the time was viewed as being a very scary scenario about the potential risks to the world economy if the financial situation was allowed to get out of hand. In retrospect, I think in some ways we were a little bit too optimistic. The power of financial crisis on global economic activity has been extraordinary. We have seen in my visits to emerging markets, they say, well, you know, on Tuesday things were fine. On Thursday, suddenly there was just a change in the atmosphere, and there was an enormous impact. So the financial crisis has had a very powerful impact on the world economy, and is still continuing. Now, in September and October, we came very, very close to a global financial meltdown, a situation in which many of the largest institutions in the world would have failed, where the financial system would have shut down, and in my view, in which the economy would have fallen into a much deeper and much longer and more protracted recession. Fortunately, the Congress acted, obviously, very quickly and under a lot of political controversy, acted to provide the Troubled Asset Relief Program, that funding, and the other supports. That funding, together with the FDIC and Fed actions, was able to stabilize our banking system. We've not had a major financial failure since Lehman in mid-September. Similar actions were taken around the world by the British, the Europeans, and many other countries to stabilize their banking system. We have obviously had a very difficult time. The recession is serious. The financial conditions remain difficult. But I do quite seriously believe that we avoided in mid-October, through a global coordinated action and the wisdom and foresight of the Congress in providing the necessary funds, a collapse of the global financial system which would have led us into a truly deep and very protracted economic